Have you ever trusted someone with all your heart and they broke you completely? Have you ever lived with someone for years, cooked for them, loved them, and one day they looked you in the eye and walked away like you meant nothing? This story is about a woman who gave her whole life to her husband and family. But one morning, her world turned upside down. You will see how lies can hide behind smiles, how pain can come from the people you love most, and you'll learn how to protect yourself, how to stand up again, and how to fight for the truth, even when your heart is broken. If you've ever felt cheated, ignored, or used, then this story is for you. My butter knife fell from my hands and hit the porcelain dish, echoing across our sunny kitchen. Randy said that without looking up from his phone. Elena, I want divorce. Steam rose from his untouched coffee. His gold band, which I'd slept on 17 years earlier, shined in the dawn light, promising eternity. I watched the man I thought I knew better as my scrambled eggs congealed on my plate. What? The word was scarcely audible. His eyes met mine, and what I saw chilled me, just impatience, no remorse or grief. I felt like I was denying him something vital. You heard me. He pushed back from the table, the chair legs scraping our hardwood floor. My lawyer will call yours. Wait, Randy. When I stood abruptly, my knee smacked the table, spilling orange juice over my glass. You talking about what? What happened? Exists someone? This doesn't concern others. He spoke the falsehood so flawlessly I almost believed it. Can't do it anymore. Do what? Our marriage? Life? My voice broke. Our kids. When I mentioned Sophia and Tony, his expression twitched, but I couldn't name it. Kids will be okay. They're almost grown-ups. Sophia was 15, Tony 13. End of story. My bare feet slapped the icy floor as I followed him to the door. You only say 17 years? He hesitated at the entrance, hand on the doorknob. I wondered whether he would turn around, explain, or remember us. Instead, he checked his watch. My meeting. Talk later. The door clicked shut softly. That may have been a gunshot. I stared at the white-painted wood, trying to absorb what transpired. Despite the morning brightness shining through every window, the house felt emptier and colder. My legs went weak, and I slumped onto the bottom step of our staircase, placing my palms against my eyes to see stars. 2 hours. All I needed to break was that before the doorbell. I almost didn't answer, but the ringing and impatient knocking continued. Via sore eyes, I saw a stranger via the peephole. Young woman, possibly mid-20s, with sleek black hair and fashionable sunglasses, pushed up. Her hand rested on her belly's prominent curve. Pregnant. Very pregnant. I opened the door out of instinct or dreadful knowing. She pushed past me without invitation, saying, she cautiously scanned my home as her shoes tapped against my foyer floor. So he keeps you here. Before we proceed, please remark your nation of video viewing. We enjoy seeing where our global family is watching. Subscribe if this is your first time on this channel. It supports our channel. Have fun listening. Excuse me? My voice found power and outrage. Who are you? She turned, raising a flawlessly sculpted eyebrow. Seriously, he didn't mention me. Broken glass laughter. Typical Randy. Hi, Veronica. Veronica Dan, your husband's. Girlfriend sounds juvenile, right? Room slanted. Gripping the doorframe kept me upright. Before you ask, she ran a manicured hand over her belly. He owns it. Due in 3 months. Boy, by the way, Randy rejoices. He always desired a son. Has son. Words shattered like ice. His 13-year-old son, Tony. Veronica waved off. That differs. Our true family, our new start. With frigid amusement, she regarded me. God, you had no idea? Feeling so unaware in your own life? My neighbor, Mrs. Shane watered her petunias then. I watched her through the open door, pretending not to. As she noticed, Veronica grinned and spoke up. Randy predicted your difficulties. This is why he desired a quiet divorce. Why hide, I asked. Totally in love. Our baby is coming. You should be ashamed, not us. Get out. My voice was solid now, powered by a surprising chilly temper. Leave my house. Your home? She laughed again. Oh, honey, verify the deed's owner. Randy planned this for a time. She walked to the door, delivering one last punch. He'll get his stuff later. Avoid making a fuss. This is beneath you. The door slammed behind her, shaking family portraits on the wall. I was frozen for 10 seconds. I went to the kitchen and called my best friend. Dorothy, free your afternoon. I need you. Dorothy arrived in 20 minutes with tissues and seething rage. She caught me in the living room with photo albums I'd taken from the shelf. She said, that absolute bastard, hugging me tightly. Explain everything. I did. Every phrase, cruel detail. Dorothy paced my living room like a caged tiger when I finished. Something's wrong, she said. Although calculating, Randy is kind. Not like this. Arriving with his pregnant mistress. Not just leaving burned ground. Maybe I never knew him. No. Dorothy stopped pacing and stared at me like a lawyer. This doesn't make sense because you know him. Elena, think. Has anything changed recently? Any changes in his behavior? I reviewed the past few months. I thought it was just the Clifford purchase, but he's been working late and receiving calls in his study. What else? My family is being questioned strangely, particularly my parents. Dorothy frowned. Your parents died 10 years ago. I know. It was odd because of that. He inquired about their accident, if I'd retained their legal documentation. Elena. Dorothy's tone was harsh. Where are your parents' papers? Inside Rye's study safe. Why? Dorothy was moving toward the stairs. Show me now. Rye always found refuge in his research. Occasionally, I entered without invitation. Ironically, our wedding date appeared on the safe as I cranked the combination. I felt like an invader in my house. Empty safe, not empty. My mother carefully wrote my name on one envelope. My hand shook opening it. Dear Elena, I read aloud. Something occurred to us and you need to know. The letter described trust, one my parents put up before their death to pass to me on my 40th birthday, 3 months away. The number made me gasp, but the conditions chilled me. If the recipient divorces or separates, the trust goes to charity. Dorothy looked over my shoulder. Holy Elena, how much money? $8 million. Dorothy whistled quietly. Randy was aware of this. He must. He managed our funds, said that made it easier. Felt nauseous. Oh, Dorothy, God, the whole marriage. Was it all about money? Dorothy, her lawyer instincts on full display, urged we must investigate further, but cautiously. If he planned this, we must be smarter. Knocking on the door halted us, not the doorbell. Knock. Familiar. That rhythm was familiar. I called her Mrs. Shane, my neighbor. Wringing her hands, the elderly woman stood on my porch. Elena, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I overheard earlier. It's fine, Mrs. Shane. It's not. She looked around uneasily. May I enter? You should know about your hubby and her. We chose the living room. Mrs. Shane perched on my sofa like a bird preparing to fly. I've seen her. She began. That woman, Veronica, not with Randy. My heart stopped. You mean what? She was here 10 months ago with an older man. Outside your house, they argued in a car. It seemed odd, but she shrugged. I normally keep to myself. Describe the man? Mrs. Shane's sketchy description was familiar. It bothered me like a word on my tongue. More, she said. Randy was in the garden last week. In your fire pit, he burned papers. Dodd looked at the house all morning like he was checking if you were watching. Dorothy and I processed silently after Mrs. Shane left. Dorothy concluded we need support. Someone who can investigate adequately. Personal investigator I know. No, the strength of the word astonished me. 0 investigators. Not yet. I want to handle this myself. Elena, I thought I knew Dorothy, my spouse. Regardless, I know his thoughts and plans. Standing, I felt stronger than all day. He prefers a quiet divorce. Okay, but I'll find out why, the real reason. I waited for Randy's belongings that night. He never arrived. A text arrived instead. Hotel stay, movers arrive tomorrow. Don't complicate this. I focused on the words until they blurred. Something I hadn't done in years happened. I phoned my Seattle cousin Daniel, Elena. He spoke drowsy. I forgot the time difference. Is everything okay? Dan, I need to ask about Mom and Dad. Their accident? A pause? How about it? Was anything odd about it? Any discrepancies? The stillness was so long I feared we were disconnected. Why ask now? His tone was measured. Please, Danny, it matters. Elena sighed. Death occurred while your folks were visiting me. The night before they called, announced Randy discovery. They fretted. The room swirled. What they found? No idea. They died before telling me. Elena, they planned to employ a lawyer. They emphasized protecting your future. It felt like a stomach punch to hang up. My folks knew. They understood Randy and his plans. Then they died. No, I couldn't go. Not yet. Next morning, the movers arrived as stated. I observed clinical packing of Rye's belongings, his attire, literature, and chosen art. 17 years of bubble wrap and boxes. Ma'am, a mover clutched a tiny wooden box. This was in the closet back. Let we take it? I identified it immediately. Rye stored old photos and messages in his memory box. I'll handle it. After they departed, I opened it. We found our wedding invitation, ticket stubs from our first date, and images from brighter times. Underneath those plastic sheets were documents that froze my blood. Multiple marriage certificates. The first was R. The second, from 3 years before we met, showed Randy married Rebecca Rickey. Divorce not granted. The third, 5 years before our marriage, listed Jennifer Liu as a bride. Not only did my hubby cheat, serial bigamist. But why? The goal of several marriages? I found the solution in a notebook under the certificates. Rye's handwriting outlining each woman's financial position, trust monies, inheritances, insurance policies, and date note, divorced, trust secured or deceased, policy claimed. The bottom had my name. Next, trust matures at 40. Before September, divorce must be final. I was just another score. The list had 2 names without resolution notes. Rebecca Rickey and Jennifer Liu were complex. My phone rang. Dorothy. Elena. Doing some digging. Veronica's not who she says she is. You mean what? Veronica Dan doesn't exist. Not formally. No social media, employment, or address history. She emerged out of nowhere 10 months ago. 10 months ago, Mrs. Shane observed her fighting with the older man. Dorothy spoke more. My pal handled Rye's finances. He owes Alina. Bad investments, hidden accounts, massive debt. He's concealing it, probably surviving on combined assets. How much debt? Close to $2 million. No surprise he required my parents' trust. Something was still off. Why the intricate Veronica charade? Why not divorce me quietly? Unless Dorothy, look up 2 names, Jennifer Liu and Rebecca Rickey. See whether they remain. While Dorothy did her legal magic, I did what I should have done hours earlier, called my kids. Mom, Sophia's voice fretted. Daddy called. He stated you're divorcing. Is it? Quite complex. Sweetheart, where are you? Madison's home. Dad advised me to stay tonight, give you room. Remember Anthony at soccer camp? Dad advised the coach to keep him a few days. Naturally, Randy had removed the children as barriers and kept them away from the fallout. Sophia, return home now. Avoid telling your dad. My daughter sat across from me an hour later, her younger face contemplating the reality about her father. Didn't tell her everything. She didn't need to hear about other marriages and plans. Her divorce and Veronica disclosure was due. I sensed something was wrong, she whispered. Dad acted strangely. I once spotted him with her in the mall. They were buying baby gear. It was when? 2 months ago. I challenged him, but he stated I was wrong. Made me insane for suggesting it. She cried. Sorry, Mom, should have told you. Ah, sweetheart, none of this is your fault. Dorothy called back when we were holding hands. Elena must hear this. Rebecca Rickey lives. She moved to Portland. She had been trying to reach Randy for months. Something about their deal. Jennifer Liu, that's intriguing. She died 7 years beforehand. Car crash. Elena has a sister searching for Randy since. Why? Because Jennifer died pregnant. She recently learned Randy was married. The sister suspects Randy got into the collision, blood chilled. What was sister's name? Vicky Liu. But Elena, I seen her images with different hair and style. She could be Veronica Dan. I completed. The pieces fit sickeningly. Rye's mistress wasn't Veronica. The Jennifer Liu sister wanted retribution. The pregnancy, attitude, and public humiliation were meant to destroy him. But questions remained. Why now? Involve me, why? The phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. Check your mail. I went outside against my better judgment. One photo was in the mailbox. Randy signing paperwork with a woman other than Veronica in a lawyer's office. Though her face was turned away, her posture was familiar. Mrs. Shane appeared at her fence when I was looking at the photo. Elena, I think I remember that man with Veronica. His gold watch with a black face looked costly. My dad's watch, one missing following his accident, the one Randy claimed never to have seen. Mrs. Shane, I spoke slowly. What did the man look like? Her detailed description suited my father wonderfully. But that was impossible. My father died 10 years prior, unless you're sure about the timing, Mrs. Shane. 10 months ago. Positive, sweetheart. Today was my grandson's birthday party, May 15th. I thanked her and staggered inside. Sophia looked up from her phone, worried. You look like a ghost, Mom. Maybe I had. I did something I said I wouldn't that night. Browsed Rye's computer. In his haste to go, he probably forgot that I knew his passwords, which he had used for years. I felt nauseous reading his email drafts. Contact with Phoenix 97. Years ago, messages discussed the plan, timeframe, and assets. My heart stopped with the latest exchange. Phoenix 97, she's suspicious. Randy, we must relocate, not yet. 3 months till trust maturity, Phoenix 97. I waited 10 years, no more waiting. You do it or I will. You promised no one would get wounded, Randy, Phoenix 97. As you promised my daughter, Jennifer trusted you. Rebecca trusted you. How many more? Randy, this is last. Finished when Elena's faith is restored. Phoenix 97, we're done when I say so. Please don't run. I know where all the bodies are buried. Literally. I screenshotted everything with a shaking hand. Phoenix 97, who? What did they mean literally? Mom, Sophia was at the door. A person is at the door, after midnight. My heart raced as I glanced through the peephole. A wrinkled woman was there with eyes I'd recognize anywhere. Rebecca Rickey, Rye's first wife. Please, she said as I opened the door. We must talk despite the lateness. All of us. I saw the car in my driveway then. Victoria, Veronica, sat in the passenger seat. Behind me, a figure that buckled my knees. The man with my father's watch from Mrs. Shane's description. I glimpsed his face in the porch light as he exited the automobile. Not my father, but somewhat brotherly. Because he was. The relative I was told died before I was born said, "Hello, Elena. You should know the truth about your family and Randy." My living room was filled with Rye's victims and my apparently dead uncle. Sitting beside me, Sophia held my hand while the facts emerged. Rob Alvin, my uncle, started. "I'm your dad's brother. I died because it was safer," he said. "I've been under witness protection 30 years. Protecting witnesses." My voice whispered. "As young men, your father and I witnessed assassination. The slayer knew we could identify him but was never captured. Dad stayed to construct a life in hopes the threat would pass. I opted to disappear. This has to do with Randy?" Robert's face grew black. "Everything. We saw Martin Rickey slay that night. Rye Dad." The room swirled. Rebecca spoke bitterly. "His name isn't Randy. Martin Jr. He changed it after his father was imprisoned for tax evasion. He was never convicted of assassination. Randy recognized his father's deeds. Elena, he learned about your family and witnesses. He married me to whom? Take retribution. No, Victoria said. He married for cash, like he married my sister, just like he married Rebecca. It developed more when he discovered your father. Insurance. He believed your family's secret was safe while married to you. But my parents perished, I answered numbly. Crumpled Robert's face. It was my fault. I contacted them 10 years ago. I told them I was coming back and weary of hiding, and they said they were going to meet your cousin before coming to meet me. Accident was an accident. But Randy spotted an opening. Rebecca said he knew the trust. He always intended to divorce you before 40. After discovering the trust, he knew he could have everything, money and quiet. Victoria responded, "My sister died because of him until I arrived." She crashed while hurrying to confront him about his falsehoods. 7 years of scheming, becoming close to him, and pretending to be pregnant with his child. "You're not pregnant?" Sophia gasped. Miss Victoria smiled coldly. "I'm pregnant, not with his child, my husband's. Randy thinks he's egotistical enough to think every woman wants him. So the spectacular arrival and public humiliation were planned to destroy him publicly before I destroyed him legally. I have proof of his bigamy, fraud, everything. Something was still off. I faced Robert. Why appear now? Risk your safety?" His sad eyes met mine, because Randy erred. "He contacted my handler last month to find me. He knew I lived. He heard from his father. He wanted to bargain. Silence for trust reduction, but you declined. I said I'd think about it, but I knew you were in danger. You all were. Desperate, Randy. His debts go beyond money. Money owed to hazardous people. Folks his father knew. That trust money is needed, or they'll slay him." Rebecca finished, "just like they threatened to slay me for leaving him, as they threatened Jennifer. The puzzle pieces produced a scarier picture than I expected. Randy was more than a conman. He committed crimes to survive his father's web." "We do what?" I requested. "We finish," Victoria said. "Randy planned divorce mediation for tomorrow. He expects you to be lonely, emotional, and manipulable. You'll get us." Rebecca added, "All the women he's wronged. He slayed everyone. And me," Robert whispered, "with proof to permanently imprison his father's cronies. FBI has built a case for years. Randy was the final thing they needed. When cornered, he'll negotiate. He'll betray everyone to survive. Who he is." I surveyed the room of strangers suffering together. "And then you get your life back," Victoria added. "We all do. But I knew it wouldn't be easy. Randy never had anything. This mediation was planned for 2 p.m. next day. I arrived early alone as intended. Randy was already there, looking worn but confident. He tried to warm Elena. Thank goodness we can do this civilly. Are you? He politely looked uncomfortable. I know yesterday was hard. You must understand that Veronica shouldn't have come to the house. I fell love. It happens. Is it? My voice was neutral. Randy, when did you fall in love? Before or after discovering my trust fund? His face froze. What are you talking about? No, let me refresh your memories. I retrieved Rebecca's photos, him and her, him and Jennifer, certificates of marriage. How many times can Randy fall in love? Turned white. Where did you obtain those? Does it matter? Elena doesn't get it, not as it appears. Is it never with you? The door opened. Victoria entered first without her fake belly after appearing to be pregnant. Rebecca behind her. 2 more unfamiliar women whose faces I'd seen in Rye's files. Hello, Martin, Rebecca stated coldly. Miss me? Randy stood so fast his chair fell. Ambush. Want my attorney. One man entering behind the women said he was present and accounted for. Mr. Ricky, I'm no longer your agent. Conflict of interest. You comprehend? Defending a client when you're also his victim is difficult. What? You gave me that investing chance? One that cost me retirement? I've investigated where that money went. When Randy backed up, the door opened again. Robert arrived with 2 FBI officers. Going where? Robert spoke coldly. Rye's face changed with emotion. Shock, terror, fury, and desperate calculation. You're dead, he whispered. Disappointed. So will your dad. You may not get to tell him he's being arrested now. Amazing what people admit when they worry their son will testify against them. No testimony from me, no. Agent walked forward. You call this what? He made a recorder. You spoke with Phoenix 97. We were Mr. Ricky, every word, confession, and threat recorded. Randy looked at me with terror for the first time in our marriage. Elena, please, don't understand. They'll slay me. Friends of my father. If I don't pay them, you should have considered that before marking me, said quietly. Before you marked us all. Loved you. Words burst from him. Money was the initial concern. Yes, but I loved you. We live with our kids, don't. Voice could cut glass. Don't involve our kids. You banished them. You would let them think I was the villain, was guarding them. Protecting yourself. You always have. Agents moved in. Randy had one more card. Your parents? Yelled. Want to know your parents? Ask him. He pointed toward Robert. Ask him why they died. Robert's face grew gray. Don't. They weren't coming by car. Randy growled. They fled you from your transformation. Your brother learned you left witness protection. Become one of them. A criminal you were supposed to testify against. Robert, that's a lie. His voice shook. Is it? Inform her of Chicago, Uncle Rob. Tell her about the warehouse fire. Explain how you bought your new identity. Looked between them. My world tilting again. Robert, he avoided my gaze. It's not. Quite complex. Wow, Rebecca breathed. You're Phoenix 97. FBI agents looked as shocked as us. They didn't intend this. Robert stood up and looked more like a stranger than my father. You have no proof? Randy's smile was pointed and urgent. Check his phone. Look in drafts. He's careless. Robert retreated as an agent approached. This is absurd. I'm here to assist. Then you won't mind us seeing, the agent ordered. Chaos ensued. Robert dived for the door. Randy jumped for the other exit, finding an opening. Victoria was faster than the agents, who pursued Robert and Randy. She expected Randy to run. The pepper spray hit him in the face, pushing him into the wall. Truth came apart when both men were handcuffed. Robert had turned criminal, building a new empire after his claimed death. He learned Rye's plots and used them to blackmail Randy while pretending to defend me. My parents died while escaping to protect me after discovering the truth. They ran from my uncle, not to him, after the disaster. I'm sorry, Elena, Robert muttered as they carried him away. My way, I wanted to protect you. I used me as bait to allow Randy continue his machinations by approaching to slay him and get his stolen goods. Not better than him. Robert laughed bitterly. Having a choice made me worse. Sophia and Tony arrived from camp hours later, and we sat in my empty house. The FBI took our statements. The lawyers began unraveling marriages and frauds. The media heard about it. By tomorrow, it would be everywhere. Dad goes to jail? Tony asked gently. Yes, sweetheart, a long time. Also Uncle Robert? Though not dead, he's terrible. Yes. Anyone in our family not a criminal? Sophia's joke failed. We are, I answered firmly. We're not family sins. The lies about us are not us. We pick our fate. Veronica, what happens? Tony asked Victoria. Her wish came true. Justice for sister. She'll see her actual husband, have her baby, and perhaps find peace Dad's other wives. Their justice and closure will come, and we? Sophia spoke softly. Get what? Pulling them near, the truth emerges. Freedom comes. You can build your life without lies. Grandma and Grandpa's trust money. My thoughts were on that. Trust still came to me. The divorce wouldn't finish by my birthday. $8 kinda blood money. Will aid other victims. I choose them all. Your dad and uncle hurt everyone. What's left will be used to construct something honest and innovative. The doorbell rang. All froze. I'll get it, I responded, shaking my hand. Mrs. Shane brought a meal and smiled on my porch. Thought you might not want to cook tonight. More neighbors appeared behind her. Salad-top Johnson's, dessert lay. Even cranky Mr. Garrett from the corner house awkwardly carrying a store-bought pie. Mrs. Shane remarked, We saw the news. Elena, we know you. We know your true self. I stood there in the community I'd lived in for years but never seen and felt something open inside. Unlike this morning's surprise, it cracked gently like spring ice melting. Thank you. Through tears, I managed. I saw something when my neighbors fed and supported me in my kitchen. Randy spent a lot of time and energy creating fake identities and damaging lives for money. However, the basic truth defeated him. Truth and relationships he hurt. He assumed we were alone and easy to manipulate and abandon. He never thought we'd meet. He never believed his victims would bring him down. When everyone left that night, I stared at Rye's vacant space in my bedroom. Absence after 17 years of marriage. The phone buzzed. Text from Victoria. I appreciate everything. Now Jennifer can relax. Rebecca's follows. FBI says we'll all be compensated. Your gift today was more than money. You restored our voices. I imagined Randy in jail tonight. I was just learning about Robert's criminal justice. I lost my parents trying to shield me from dreadful truths. But largely I thought of tomorrow, waking up in this house with my children without lies, about establishing a life on truth, however unpleasant. As usual, the daybreak would come, but for the first time in 17 years, I would see it as Elena, not Rye's wife, victim, or mark. Bruised but whole, betrayed but not bitter, free. A month later, trials began. Randy, facing life in prison, did as Robert expected, turned everyone on. His father's criminal network, Roberts, and undiscovered projects. One of the largest organized criminal takedowns in decades, according to the FBI. I wasn't in court to watch. In the bank, I established the Elena Ricky Foundation for fraud victims. The trust money allowed pain to be turned into purpose. Sophia created our logo, a phoenix emerging from ashes. Too obvious, she wondered. Perfect, I told her. Tony authored our mission statement with the sincerity of a 13-year-old to help lied-to people find the truth and start anew. Randy was anything but simple and honest. Victoria was our first board member and SS-laid businesswoman. Rebecca brought legal expertise next. Rye's previous lawyer offered pro bono services to redeem himself. The true surprise came when Mrs. Shane knocked on my door one evening with a manila envelope. I've debated giving you this, she continued, sitting in my kitchen with tea. I think you should see it. Dozens of photos from her window throughout the years were within. Randy arriving and going at weird hours, encountering people in cars, including one that chilled me. Randy and Robert dated 3 years prior. You knew, I whispered, I thought. Detective husband passed away. He taught me observation. And I realized that sometimes people need to find the truth on their own time. You didn't? Would you have believed me? Great spouse, loving father. Elena, sometimes we must let people reveal themselves. She was right. I had to see it to grasp the lie. More, Mrs. Shane continued, taking out a final snapshot, taken the morning your folks went on their trip. Check the time, 5:47 a.m. The photo shows a figure by my parents' automobile. Image was fuzzy, but build was clear. Randy was there. I inhaled. He saw them go. Mrs. Shane said she called immediately. His words were inaudible, but we now knew. He informed Robert. Start the chase. The photo was the ultimate proof Randy would never be free again. I called the prosecutor that night with new evidence. Next day, Rye's lawyer requested a meeting. He sought another deal. I'd see him with others. Victoria, Rebecca, and 2 other victims flanked me as Randy was handcuffed and diminished in the meeting room. Elena, he began, but I stopped him. Not allowed to speak, not anymore. Simply listen. I placed Mrs. Shane's photo on the table, saw his last arrogance fall. You called Robert Morning. My parents died because of you. And for what? Money you'd never get. His mouth moved like a fish panting for oxygen. I explained what would happen. You'll confess everything. No trials, appeals, deals. Every crime, victim, and stolen penny will be detailed. You will then vanish into their pit. You'll never contact me or our kids again. You no longer own the kids. You forfeited that right by choosing greed before family. I'll die in prison, he murmured, enemies of my father. You should have considered it before following him. Vicky leaned forward. At 23, my sister died. She'll never marry, have kids, or age. Why get what you stole from her? Rebecca added, You stole my 10 years. 10 years of worrying you'd discover me. Women spoke one by one. Each voice shatters Rye's delusions. After they finished, I stood. Randy, goodbye. Or Martin, whatever you are. May you eventually understand truthfulness. He called out one final time as we left. Elena, I loved you. It was real, I kept going. Maybe he loved me in a strange manner. However, love without honesty is no love, just another scam. I stood in my kitchen 10 months later. My world was broken over breakfast in this kitchen. But everything else changed. Once white walls were now colorful. Artwork on every surface by Sophia. Tony's soccer trophies were on the mantle, no longer in Rye's study. The home breathed again, secret-free. Mom, I'm going to the foundation, Sophia shouted. She was our youngest volunteer helping kids with family fraud at 16. I called back. Take your brother, coding class with the Wilsons. Our foundation has grown beyond our expectations. One effort to support Rye's victims became a nationwide network. We had helped many of families uncover financial deceptions and provide support. Victoria gave birth to Jennifer, a healthy girl. She sent frequent photos. The child's pure smile shows that life goes on after tragedy. Rebecca resumed dating cautiously but optimistically. I was told I had 20 years of surveillance. I'm ready to look ahead. Even Rye's father's victims found us, revealing decades-old experiences. We mapped generations of deception to help law enforcement solve cold cases and prevent future crimes. The biggest surprise came from an unexpected source. A graceful elderly woman appeared at the foundation. She introduced herself as Rye's mother, Margaret Rickey. I know I have no right to be here, she added, crying. But please know I attempted to stop them both, my spouse and son. They ruined me for it. Over 40 years, she hid boxes of evidence, documents that revealed criminals and their enablers, banks that ignored it. A network of complicit lawyers aided frauds. I couldn't save my son, she said, but maybe I can save others. Her information sparked an ongoing federal inquiry. Foundation was more than a support system. We worked to modify predator-friendly setups like Randy's. The phone buzzed. I recognized the prison prefix, but not the number. I nearly didn't reply. Curiosity won. Hello, right you were. Rye spoke differently. Older, broken everywhere. To let you know I testified. They got everything. Against a deal. Simply because you were right. Why call Randy? I'm sorry. No, it's meaningless. Though it doesn't change anything, I had to say it. A stop and warning. Robert was partnered. Unknown people. They blame you for his arrest and are still out there. Elena, watch out. The line ended. Standing there, I processed this final modification. Genuine concern or a ploy? No idea with Randy. I was different from the woman who sat at breakfast, blindsided and broken. Now I had assets. Allies. Surviving the worst builds strength. Called our FBI case agent. I rang my security firm. I had one now. Finally, I called my kids. I mentioned family gathering when they got home. We must talk. Our bright kitchen was where I told them about Rye's call. My emotions were reflected on their faces. Fear, rage, will. So we're still at risk. Tony may have asked. We're no longer victims. We're ready. We do what? Sophia's jaw set like mine. We live, I declared. No hiding. They don't run. We've made something good, a useful object. We won't lose that. Dad's helping out. Tony seemed confused. Maybe. Perhaps he's manipulating us one last time. Your father will keep us in the dark, Sophia whispered. That's okay. We know our truth. She was right. We constructed truth from lies. Made a family stronger from scars. Found meaning in suffering. That night, I looked out my bedroom window at our welcoming neighborhood. Mrs. On was Shane's porch light. Despite vigilant eyes, she became our unofficial guardian angel. An automobile passed slowly. I reached for my phone again, ready to call for help. I spotted Rebecca's automobile then. Before picking up her boyfriend, she circled the neighborhood, worried about her date. I relaxed by smiling. It was our life now. Fear, then comfort. Shadows, allies, or enemies, but always the certainty that we survived the worst. The phone buzzed. Text from Victoria. Board meeting tomorrow. 3 new families need aid. You ready? Always typed back. You do that after being broken and rebuilt. You help others discover parts. You demonstrate that betrayal isn't fatal. Beginning of a better one. Randy lived with his decisions in a cell. Robert was tried for decades of crimes. The legacy should have been destruction. Transformation had occurred instead. Tony's Elena Ricky Foundation tagline sat above my desk. Truth endures more than falsehoods. Simple, truthful. Everything we choose to be. Knowing tomorrow would bring new obstacles, I closed my blinds and went to bed. Robert's friends may attend. Other victims would find us. Work would continue. But tonight, my kids were safe down the hall. My chosen survivors were a phone call away. My community guarded casseroles and care. Randy asked for a divorce over breakfast, thinking he was ending my narrative. Instead, he gave me the gift of starting it. Real one, where I saved myself and helped save others.